Did Mr. Smith set his own hours and rates when he performed these services in 2021?
We agreed upon an hourly rate for Mr. Smith, but he pretty much worked the hours our customer prefers. He was allowed flexibility with his days off, though.
If Mr. Smith works the same hours as other employees of your company who are performing the same or similar services as required by you or your customer, then this is going to lean more in favor of Mr. Smith being your employee.
Did Mr. Smith provide his own liability insurance?
No.
Do you have a contract or agreement with Mr. Smith?
Yes, we do have a consulting agreement with Mr. Smith.
Does Mr. Smith have his own unemployment account?
I don't know.
State departments of labor are really most concerned about this question about whether or not the individual worker has their own unemployment account. This is often how they get involved in looking into these issues, because someone like Mr. Smith may end up filing for unemployment, or if they're doing an audit of your company, they're going to ask you for a list of all those individuals who are classified as 1099 workers. And then they will want to know, well, do these workers have their own unemployment accounts set up individually? If not, this is also going to lean more in favor of employee status. As far as whether or not you have a contract or agreement, I highly recommend that you do have a 1099 consulting or contractor agreement with anyone who you intend to classify in that manner. However, having this agreement will not be an end-all be-all for which the federal or state departments of labor will determine the status as a worker or employee. It just may help if some of the other questions that they ask lean more in favor of independent contractor status, but you don't have an agreement. That could end up hurting your chances of winning the argument.
Was Mr. Smith required to take a drug test like your employees are?
Well, yes, as our customer required it.
Was Mr. Smith required to attend any specific training?
Yes, he had to take our annual anti-harassment training as well as our ethics training.
These questions regarding required tests and required training are also very important to the federal and state departments of labor. If you do require a so-called independent contractor or 1099 consultant to take the same test and training that you require of your employees, this will lean more in favor of finding them to be your employee. As you can tell from this mock investigation, the question of whether someone is properly classified as a 1099 contractor or your employee who should receive a W-2 is very complicated. It really needs to be determined on an individual basis for each person who you classify as a consultant or contractor. As I've said, federal agencies such as the Department of Labor, as well as the IRS, may look at this issue differently than individual state agencies and may not find that each question is treated equally. We have experienced audits in which the auditor found that the answer to just one or two questions could tip them in favor of classifying the worker as an employee rather than a 1099 contractor. The bottom line is this is a complicated issue and it is very ripe for scrutiny right now. We advise that you proceed with caution in classifying workers as 1099 contractors and consultants, and that if you do so, you document clearly the reasons why they are not your employee. We remain available to assist you with these classifications, as well as evaluating those who have already been classified by you as independent contractors.